today I'm going to show you how to make one of these crocheted roses. I'm going to be using Paintbox yarn Simply Chunky in the colour 313, which is this lovely red, nice bright red colour, with a 6mm hook. You can make them in various yarns, double knit, with the appropriate hook. To be honest, you can experiment with any yarn. This pattern that I use will work for any different yarn. It just means you might end up with a different size rose. So a smaller yarn will give you a smaller rose. A chunkier yarn is going to give you a bigger flower at the finish. So let's get started. Leave a tail that's about 30 to 40 centimeters long. We are going to create a slip knot. And then we're going to chain 56. So be careful not to use your tail end. I'm just going to count 56. Then going to work into the back of our chain. So we're going to flip it over and we're going to be working into the single bumps down the middle of the back there. And we're going to work a half treble into the 4th chain from the hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just going to work into that one. So that was a... tell you, shouldn't I? We're going to start with a yarn over if you don't know how to work a half treble. So yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over and pull through all 3 of the loops on your hook. In the US that would be a half double crochet, but I use UK terms, so half treble. We're then going to work 2 chains, 1, 2, and then we're going to miss one of our chains from our original chains. So miss one and work again a half treble into that next back loop, like so. And again 2 chains, miss one and a half treble. And we're just going to continue that all the way along our foundation chain. So I will continue that and meet you back at the end in a moment. last two foundation chains there. So again, just skipping one, and that very last one we just do another half treble into there, and we're then going to do 1, 2, 3 chains and turn our work. So as you can see, it looks a bit more like a worry worm at the moment than it does a rose, but you will see how easy this does come together. So we've obviously got these gaps all the way along now, and that's what we're going to be working into as we go across this next row. So we've worked 3 chains, which will act as our first treble crochet, or in US terms double crochet, for into this hole here. So we're then going to work a further 5 trebles into this gap. We then work a double crochet, or in US terms single crochet, into the next gap, just anchoring it down. We're then going to work 6 treble crochets into the next gap, or 6 double crochets in the US. So yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and that's our treble crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then a double crochet, or US single crochet, into that next gap. And you'll see we sort of form these, not quite clusters, but similar effect there. So we're going to work another 4 of those, so a 6 trebles double, 6 trebles double. We're going to do that 4 more times so that we end up with 6 of these sort of shells in total. So I will just carry on, or even carry on and do those. So it's my 6th shell type shape. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we'll do another double crochet in that next gap. We're then going to work 9 treble crochets into this next gap. So, treble crochet as before, or double crochet in US terms. Gets a bit tight in there, you can sort of push those along the 2 chains, push your treble crochets along a little bit to give you a bit more room. And that is 9 in there, just double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, yep. And again we'll just do a double crochet in that next stitch or space to anchor it. So we're going to do 9 trebles, and we're going to do this a total of 5 times. So that was 1, I'll do 4 more and then meet you back again. Last 9 cluster, and again we'll just anchor it with a double crochet in the next gap. We're then going to work 1, 2, 3, 12 treble clusters or shells, whatever you like to call them. Okay, so same again, just treble crochets worked into this space. It is going to get tight in there now that you're trying to do 12, so you will have to keep sort of pushing them along there. So I will work those 12. I will speed it up for you because I'm sure you don't want to sit and watch me do that. And then I'll meet you back when I get to that last space there. So we're at this last space now where we started our first trebles, not even trebles, half trebles, and we're going to work 12 into this gap. Now it is a smaller gap, so it is going to get tight, but if you just keep pushing those trebles back along, you can fit them in. That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 12. Okay, we can then cut our yarn. And just pull that through and fasten it off. And that forms the basis for our rose. So what we're going to do next is start folding it in. So this is the beginning end, this is where we did our 6 cluster. And we will just roll it in, and I find the best way to do it is to roll it so that each new piece that you roll is higher or taller than the piece in the middle. Hopefully that makes sense. And you'll see you start to form this rose shape as you go around. I'm not sewing it off just yet, just because I want to show you that process. of how you create that kind of rose shape by just folding these petals around themselves. And they do help you. The fact that it's done this 10 actually helps the process. And you'll notice as you get to those bigger clusters, it forms those outer petals. Now you could keep going, you could make a bigger rose than this if you wanted to. You just need to make sure that you form your chain stitches in multiples of 2. So you could do, 100 if you wanted to, if you wanted a huge rose for a certain project. So what I will do is just unroll that, and I'm going to thread my darning needle on. I'll thread that onto this beginning. Just double checking that I've got the right end there. So that's the beginning end of our chain, our original chain. And then I'm just going to roll it as I showed you a moment ago. Just get a little bit of a start. And then what I do is because you can see how it kind of hangs out the bottom there, which I guess it depends what you're planning to do with the rose afterwards. I like to sew them onto projects. So I tend to go up into the rose and out the other side. Hopefully you can see that. And just pull that hanging down bit up, like so. And then I'll roll a little bit further. And then each time I get to where my yarn tail is coming out, I'll just stop, pop my needle back through, and bring it out the other side again, just to make sure I'm really securing that centre. Walk around a bit more. Obviously, because of the shape of these petals, I know I'm saying to make sure they're above the inner part. Obviously as they dip they won't be, but if you can keep the actual petals taller than the piece that's rolled up already, I just find it holds together a little bit better. So again, I'm just going to go through and out the other side. Don't worry too much about how neat this is, because it's not really going to be visible. Like so. Don't pull too tightly, because you'll end up bunching it all up and it won't look as sort of aesthetically pleasing. So just, as I say, keep rolling it round, really simple. And through, hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Right, trying to make sure I come out through one of these treble crochets so that it holds together. Is coming out, just through that rose again. Don't think you can really beat a red rose. I'm saying that, but I've got pink roses in my garden as well, so pink, white. I do love a rose, I've got to admit. Just going through. Keep doing that. It's a really simple process until we come to the end. The bigger it gets, as you get towards these outer ones, you're going to need to tie it in or sew it in a bit more frequently. To keep them all together. Last sort of round of petals quite loose for a nice open flower. pretty much done. And then depending on what you're planning to do with it, you can use this tail end to attach it if you're planning to attach it to a different project. I'm just going to fasten that very last piece down through the bottom, like so. So that piece can then be used to attach it to whatever you're planning to attach it. You could pop it into a little bag. There's a bit of an embellishment. You could pop the pin on the back and have it as a brooch. Lots of uses really, isn't there, for crocheted flowers. Or you could do a collage with lots of different ones, do some leaves as well, or even create a stem and have several together in a vase for a permanent floral display. Anyway, that's my little tutorial. That's how I create my roses. Let me know in the comments below if you do make one. If you share on social media, don't forget to tag me at Duffy's Craft Days so that I can see your makes as well. Okay, hope you've enjoyed watching. Thank you.